Okay, good evening everyone. Thank you everyone for coming. Really appreciate you supporting us, and Suzanne, who's going to be speaking tonight. For those of you who know Suzanne, as I do, she has a background in remedial massage. She's been doing body talk for 15 years. Also does Rahanni, teaches Rahanni, and does workshops on personal and spiritual development. I've known, we were discussing this earlier, I've known Suzanne for lots of years, probably over 12 or 15, I'm not sure. And we've done numerous swaps, and Suzanne's a great therapist and fantastic at body talk. It always helps me. So it's great at last that we've got Suzanne to talk after a year.
A year of saying no.
Yeah. So with that, I will pass over to Suzanne.
Thank you very much. Are we on speaker view?
We will be.
Okay. Have you still got that access to do that?
Yep.
Okay. Right, let me share my screen. So thank you for that lovely introduction. I know quite a few of you here from clinic, which is fabulous, and some I met along the way. Some from Harry Edwards. Julia, we met. I came along to listen to you at the Harry Edwards. That's probably nearly a year ago when you first came there. So yeah, it's been nice to meet everybody along the way. Okay, so let's share my screen. Okay, so I press play. Can everyone see that all right? Yeah? Okie dokie. So this is John Vale time. If you can see through the boxes, it's on the right hand side here. You might be covered up by your Zoom boxes. This is typically what a course looks like, and John doing a demonstration. So he's the founder of the Body Talk system. It's been going for 25 years, I guess, and it's an accumulation of lots of his philosophy, lots of healthcare practices that he's done, kind of all rolled into one, and then developed his own system of balancing people's health. So my experience is I've been a therapist for around 27 years now. I think my background's in remedial massage and clinical assessment. I've done advanced anatomy and physiology and lots of other therapies along the way. 15 years ago, I added the Body Talk system and Mindscape. I was having experiences for myself, and it made a big difference. I realised that in order to heal on every level was to treat from a whole healthcare perspective. So this includes mental, emotional, physical and spiritual bodies. Since then, I've added Rahanni celestial healing. I'm a Reiki master. I teach healing, meditation, mindfulness, run groups, workshops, help people develop their personal and spiritual growth. So it's just a combo of all the things that I've learned on my journey along the way. Most recently, I've added a product that's frequency healing. And there's quite a few people in this group that have actually added a product, and I'll explain why later. So this is James Oshman. So here's just a quote from him: that have been attempts to establish a quantum medicine, but it was not until Body Talk that the discoveries in quantum physics became part of the daily reality in many healthcare practitioners and their patients. And now my screen's going to play around because I've gone back. Okay. So there are very few systems of healthcare that takes the time to hear the whole story, addressing the whole person as opposed to the symptom or disease. So this system assists in creating an environment that supports the body in healing itself. So the subconscious mind, that unconscious aspect of us, we are 95% unconscious. It is the storehouse of all beliefs, memories and our knowledge. So here in the subconscious mind is all your underlying baggage, deep beliefs, conditioning, triggers, etc. Most of which are in there by the time we're 7 years old. We navigate up to that age and in the womb just through our senses and extra senses, and develop filters and triggers and beliefs around how the world works just by navigating with our senses, because we don't know any different. So we develop triggers to certain behaviours. And it's not usually about the person. So if you're triggered by somebody today because of a certain behaviour that they brought to you, often it will remind you of a behaviour that happened many years ago and it's just surfacing. You might be triggered by that person's behaviour and somebody else might not. So there always holds an element. If you're triggered, then there's something in there for you that's unresolved, okay? So we're made up of energy, 70 trillion cells in constant communication, all intermingling and communicating together. So every system, cell and atom in the body is in constant communication with each other. That's helpful. Every system is composed of other systems. So to understand any one system, it requires understanding of the body as a whole. So the human DNA is a biological internet. So some of the latest Russian scientific research explains phenomena such as clairvoyance or all the clair. Don't know what's going on with that. All the clairs, so clairaudience and all the ways of your intuition, your subtle senses, spontaneous and remote acts of healing, self-healing, affirmation techniques, unusual light auras around people, they can call spiritual masters. The mind can influence weather patterns and much more. So in addition, there's evidence for a whole new type of medicine in which DNA can be influenced and programmed without words and by words and frequencies without cutting out or replacing a single gene. How clever is that? So Body Talk understands the psychology of the body and the influence it has on your health. So practitioners develop specific skills to listen to the needs of the body. So it works with the natural healing response and we navigate using the biofeedback. So you're just using muscle tests to create a yes or a no, which when you first learn Body Talk would take quite a long time developing that skill. So we develop our left and right brain. It's very left brain learning to start with in order for the right brain intuition to work in tune. And for us to completely move out of the way of any kind of agenda in a session so that what comes up as a priority for the person is what's needing to be tapped out. So the ongoing development of our subtle senses and intuition is key, along with knowing the left brain structure. So in Body Talk, we have another system called Mindscape, which you build a mental workshop. It's a playground really for developing all your senses, which allows all sorts of things to pop in. So it gives you a whole extra dimension to work in, which is really clever. That's actually my favourite course. So the tapping consists of tapping on the three brains, which is the head, the heart, and the gut, the enteric brain. So the head, tapping on the head, which is the habit brain. This brain can't discern what's real or not. It's just what is in your reality, your stories. So this will register the links that have come up and the intercommunication in the body. The heart complex stores the memory of what needs to be observed, and the gut brain to enable the body to process the changes in order to heal. So this works on the healing function at all levels, mental, emotional, physical and spiritual. So it gathers a story about the whole person. So to establish good communication between all systems and body parts, and it helps adapt to the stresses and strains of life in order to heal in a supported environment. So what it looks like is you fill out a form. You typically lie on a massage table, face up, or now online, as we've all been for the last year, and you're fully clothed. So the practitioner normally sits or stands by your side and uses your arm for biofeedback, and the session lasts up to 60 minutes. We use a protocol chart and a procedure to navigate our way around the body using our structured intuition. So essentially, the protocol is the map to guide the practitioner down the right route so they can find all the details, so create a story that needs to be revealed. So every choice, experience has contributed to your current state of health. This is your story. Somebody got there? Can someone pop themselves on mute? You haven't got control now, have you? Can. Amanda, could you pop yourself on mute? I can do it. I'll come out. I can do it. That's okay. I've done it. Okay, so Every choice experience has contributed to your current state of health. So your health is a story, and it turns up in every body, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So the power is in finding out the details of what needs to come up. So if you can see here on the right, if your Zoom boxes are not in the way, the client's turned up with a symptom saying that they've got neck pain, but it's aggravated by other things that are going on in the body. So this is just a really simple link. And the actual main thing that's going on is an issue in the knee. So by redirecting our attention, the body talk practitioner can resolve the main complaint or symptom simply by focusing on what the main focus and underlying cause of something is. So you're creating a story, but this is not us as practitioners creating this. We're allowing this to come up with what needs to shift in that person. So that's just a really simple example. So our body has the ability to self-heal and self-regulate. But unfortunately, we stuff things in dark corners and end up with filtering everything in order to feel safe. So how do we heal? So this is understanding the story. So the only question you have to figure out is what's stopping you healing. So each organ, endocrine and body part has its own consciousness. So we're looking at not just the physical component of ill health, it's how you ended up with that issue in your physical body. So I'm just going to give you an example of one organ and talk as if I'm the large intestine. So you may think my only role is to eliminate waste and the digestion of food. I do much more than that. I also eliminate and process thoughts and emotions as a result of your life experience. So this helps by being able to generate grief to help you let go and move on. So the desire to be in control of every situation leads to the inability to surrender yesterday's emotions, which you call constipation. This is just one example. So when I'm functioning properly, I allow for the ability to release the past and cleanly enter each day with an open mind. Think about where you might have disease in your body and what function that part has, and therefore the consciousness of that body part. So it could be your liver. You could be struggling with frustration over something that's out of your control, for example, and then that can create some dis-ease in your liver. It's not to say that it's going to become terribly sick, but it can get out of balance. And then the system, the liver functions in relation to the gallbladder or the knee are not functioning as optimally as they can. So it's all about the communication of the whole and not just fixing one part. So we've got the left brain knowledge, the right brain intuition. So that equals structured intuition. That's how we navigate around a person's issues. So the intuition is the spontaneous application of knowledge in order to understand and gain insights. So in a session, we use the biofeedback to reveal the story that needs to be observed, and then holding specific points and tapping on the head, the heart and the gut brain to help communication for healing to take place. All very clever system. So here's just an example of all the things that can come into the factor of how you end up with that symptom. And then beyond this, if your Zooms are over, it says disease on the right hand side there. So you can have beliefs around something came first when you're really young, and then something in your diet created an issue. Couple that with stress going on, the stress hormones and the digestion not working very well around particular foods, for example, that can happen. Then you might have been exposed to an X-ray, and then more emotional factors come along, and then turns up a symptom in the physical body, and that can then lead to disease. It doesn't always. If you can keep your body balanced in lots of different ways using different therapies and body talk, then obviously there's lots of ways we can help ourselves. Quite often though, even, you know, as body talk practitioners and all other therapists, we all have our issues, and because we're 95% unconscious, a lot of it we need help in surfacing, and sometimes we will need other expertise within a system to help us see exactly where we need to change things. So the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. So I'm going to show you what a formula looks like, so you can get an idea of what we are bringing out in a session. So you could have a simple link of the liver to the pancreas, and then you might tap that out, and that might be all you need. Or you might need more information. So it could be the pancreas and the liver, and then a definition of those two together could be sugar metabolism. And then you might need to go into a sub-session, which is then about just the liver. And it's got a consciousness of worrying about planning, for example. So the liver is all about planning and creating movement and anger and frustration and all those kind of emotions. And then this could be a formula that you link to something else and then you tap it out. So in Chinese medicine, the liver is the master planner. And then this formula, before you tap it out, might need to get bigger still. And then you've linked it to a link between the kidney and the bladder and the definition of consciousness of fear of sexuality. And that might be enough. And then you can tap that out. And that just brings up a story of what's kind of gone on in someone's life. I know this might sound confusing, but bear with me. And then you might need to make this all in. So you could have separate parts linking to each other. So they're then separate entities. When you bring them together in a formula, they're working together to heal. And then them working together to heal go to another part of your body that needs to work together to heal. And then they need to link to each other. And then you can have another issue around all of that, which in this case has gone to a sub-session around time and fear of aging. Going further into somebody's session, if it hasn't come up for tapping out yet, you could have an influence around the session of childhood abuse. And you could have a past life issue with, which is the 8th chakra. We go back through lineage and a soul's journey. And this is about a connection with the great-great-great-grandmother around diabetes. So you can carry that through your family line. So that might need to come up to be surface in order to be seen and let the body do its own healing to resolve these issues. So I'm going to teach you now Cortis's technique. This is a standalone technique that can be taught to everybody. So we have a Body Talk Access course in Body Talk, which is a one-day course, and you can learn about 4 different techniques and then all the balancing of the pairings in the body. It's a good standalone course. The cortices was one of the first things that John Valtime came up with in order to heal himself from very severe Epstein-Barr, which is glandular fever, and he was, I think he very nearly died. And through all of his learning, he developed different techniques, which then developed into the Body Talk system from healing, for his own self-healing. So if you all want to join in, this takes the body out of fight or flight mode. You can do this at any point. I know some of you saw Sue do this on our network evening. So it calms the nervous system and helps the body mind to go into rest and digest healing mode. So it calms your nervous system down. So it improves the brain function and mental clarity, improves communication between the left and the right brain, increases that sense of relaxation and helps the body mind process and manage stress. So this supports all Body Talk sessions. This will come up in every session, or you can use it on your own. So I'll just come off sharing for a minute so that I can see everybody. Okay, so if you take your flat hand and then you pop it at the back of your head, just in the nape of your neck there. And then with your other hand, making sure you're accessing both sides of the brain, you're going to just tap gently and take a nice deep breath. And then tap on the heart complex. And then tap on the tummy. And you're going to move your hand up into the next hand position, directly above where your hand was, and you're going to tap again. Nice deep breath. It's a really good stress reliever. It's a good way to start your day as well. Nice relaxed breathing. And then moving your hand up to the next hand position. And you're tapping on your head again. You can tap over your hand if you want to. Nice deep breath. And you're tapping on your chest. And then tapping on your tummy. Move to the next position. Your chest, and then your tummy, and then move over your forehead, tapping on your head, and your chest, and your tummy. And you're going to pop both hands on either side of your head, and take one hand off, tap on your head, your chest, and then your tummy. Replace that hand, and then do the other side. Okay, so it's a really good way of calming your system down. If you've got children, this is really good to do on your children. Children balance to energy really, really quickly, as do animals. Us body talk practitioners have been doing this technique for years, and we're all still using it. And it's very effective, actually, even just as a standalone. That's just one little tiny technique in amongst the reams and reams of stuff that you learn with body talk. So let's just share my screen again. Thank you for joining in. Okay. So it's just a picture of the Cortis's technique, and you can, when you're doing this on people, when you get to the last hand position, you can get them to hold the sides of their head while you tap. So body talk in a nutshell, it's about understanding the psychology of the body and the influence it has on your health. So rather than focusing on the symptom, body talk finds the hidden causes of illness by looking at the physical, emotional and environmental factors. It addresses the whole person and their whole story, using the entire context of their life to improve their health. Communication with the whole person, their health challenges will arise for a variety of reasons. We've all got different backstories and experiences, and sometimes we've come in with this baggage, not even anything to do with this life. It could be family issues or other things. So the body talk system really can go anywhere. It can bring up all sorts of diverse things. So when a practitioner is trained to look at the whole person, emotional, physical and environmental issues, the true underlying causes of dis-ease can be balanced. So it's synchronizing with the whole story. So every choice, every experience has contributed to your current state of health. So each scar, laugh line, mole has a unique story and history. So this whole healthcare synchronizes your story and understanding the influence it has on your health. So it can come through any of the bodies and end up physical. So it's about trying to find where the cause, the underlying cause is turning up here. So this is a whole healthcare, integrative and designed to draw upon all fields of healthcare. So each practitioner has a unique experience and skill set, which can help to create and balance the approach to healthcare. So most body talk practitioners have other therapies under their belt, and this can actually come into the system. It might pop in and out with other skills they have, or also pick up on the skills of the person that you've got on the couch. So it might go into something that is in their knowledge in order for it to be surfaced. So if necessary, this system also allows for referrals to come into the session, should there be a need for a different expertise, in order for the client to fully heal with the right professional. So that could be another broad body talk practitioner, or it could be another health professional altogether. So for me, I've been seeing Gemma Price for nutrition, which has been fab, because I need to learn about my relationship with food. So all body talk practitioners, all therapists, this is an ongoing journey of finding where your unconscious baggage is hanging out in your beliefs, in the stuff that you can't see. So what if if the story your body is telling is holding you back from true health? So This is the Body Talk, senior Body Talk instructor, Karen Best. So her first experience of a Body Talk session was in April 2003, with results so profound that it dramatically changed her health and outlooks. After the first session, symptoms that she'd been experiencing for years with hypoglycemia, IBS and sciatica disappeared within 2 weeks. She instantly knew that this is what she'd been searching for, although she was completely confused at how something so gentle and simple could have that effect on me. Now, Karen teaches all over the world and has been doing for many years. Some of you know Karen. She's a fabulous teacher if you want to learn body talk. So this is Sue. I don't know if you can see Sue's picture in the corner, but she's here. So this is Sue's testimonial. To recommend Body Talk to everyone. Body Talk can get to the heart of the problem, clearing the cause before it's had a chance to manifest into a physical ailment. It doesn't just treat the symptom. Suzanne's helped me with relationships, self-esteem, emotional and hormonal imbalances, allergies and things that simply wouldn't go well. I'll let you read the rest anyway. It feels funny reading a testimonial to me. I'm just going to come off sharing for a sec because Julie's trying to come in. Sorry, guys. We've got having an issue with our co-hosting skills here today. Okay, this is Sue. You can see Sue now. So Sue is a budding Body Talk practitioner and has been a client for many years and part of my group of ladies. We get together for healing circle and meditation. So this is another client, Fiona. She had recurring chest and sinus infections, so she's been coming for many years and she comes now for a top up because those issues resolved. She just comes to stay well. When I first started, when I first met Karen, we were working in the same clinic and I was struggling with all sorts of things and having a difficult pregnancy. Actually, every time I went for a session, start with Maddie in my tummy, kept nicking my Body Talk session. I was turning up going, no, I want it to be about me. It made a whole big difference to me. My whole outlook on health and the philosophy on life changed dramatically. So I view life now from a much bigger picture and look at all perspectives of a situation, not just in health, but in life in general, and looking at unraveling stories, staying clear of drama, or at least recognizing when I'm in one. Of course, I still get that wrong. We're all human. So all aspects of my work and teaching fits together well. And I'm truly grateful for the gift of this system because this has truly changed how I view life and how I work. So everything I do is kind of wrapped around this learning that I've done over many years. Okay, so my journey over the last year, I've been working and presenting and teaching online, which back in March, I had not even much of a clue how to work my computer. Bought it as a 50th birthday present and then watched Netflix on it. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, now I need to start doing stuff online. And actually I have managed to work out how to make a presentation, it seems. So I'm rebranding. I've rebranded and Faye is in the process of building my new website. So I'm now Soul Frequencies. My Facebook page is in my maiden name. So if you want to join my Soul Frequencies group, it's under Suzanne Jane Darbin. So my group is attached to that. So if you want to join that, that'd be fabulous. I pop up inspirational messages and sometimes things for people to learn about themselves, and once I've got courses and stuff coming up, I'll pop the information up about those too. I'll share various bits and bobs. So I've just finished a course of 6 workshops that should have been over 12 weeks because it was every other week, but I got poorly in between. We've just finished our last one, so I'm just in the process of putting dates in to start my next spiritual and personal development group for therapists, healers, and for anybody to join in with for their own personal growth. I also run monthly meditation, mindfulness and healing circles as well. So I run 2 of those. And I've added Nature's Frequencies products, as have many here. So if you want to know more about those, and there's somebody, I think we've got Karen, who else have we got here? Sue, Pam, it's quite a few of us with these products. Basically ended up adding these because going online, I very quickly realised that I was getting visual disturbance and pain and heat in my head. Went on a mission to find out what the EMF issues were like in my house. We're all at home, all online, kids doing schooling, James and I both working. Got a reader, was a bit shocked at the levels of radiation on the reader. So went on a mission to find some EMF shields. Came across Lena, fabulous company. What on earth in cards, some shields on my products, EMF shields on the router, my phone, everything else, and that completely sorted the problem out. That's why I kind of go on about these products. I have had other therapists ask me why I'm using a product for some of my clients when Body Talk can help with many issues. And my answer is that in every Body Talk session, you're bringing up priorities and you're not going to balance every single thing that comes up in a session. And sometimes people might reach for the painkillers or other stuff. And I'd much rather use these products. There's a lot of healing products for pain, discomfort, sleep, anxiety in this company as well. So with the clients that actually, my physical clients that I'm not seeing at the moment, some of them are too frail to come even if I was, I've been able to give them access to these patches instead, and they've been fabulous. It's been a real lifeline for some people, so they're over the moon to have some sort of help. So that's kind of why I've ended up with a product. I wasn't looking to sell a product at all, as the same as other practitioners that sell these too. They've been fabulous. It's been a good journey. So how can you find out more? So this is me. So if you want to come for a Body Talk session, learn Rahanni Celestial Healing, although that would be in person when we're out of lockdown. Come on one of my workshops. These encompass many aspects of my experience and learning journey. So hopefully doing these in person soon, and I'm also teaching online. That's my email address, my mobile. That link there is the link through to the page about me on Body Talk, International Body Talk website. It's my website coming soon, and then when we're out and about in real life, I coordinate courses for 2 advanced UK instructors, Karen Best and Andy Spencer. So if you want to learn the Body Talk system or Mindscape, then those are the people that I would recommend. So these are just a few quotes from kids that have had Body Talk. This is just on the Body Talk website. So I just thought that was cute. So I'll let you read those. And that's it.
Thank you, Suzanne.
You're very welcome.
That was brilliant. So anyone got any questions? Oh, unmute whoever. I can't see you all, so I can't see if anyone's putting their hands up because someone's speaker view. Well, while I'm waiting for questions, I've got a question.
Okay.
So how do you know where to start? When someone comes to you and they probably present with something, they probably say, oh, well, I've come to you because of this. And you say that things come up as priorities. So how would you start with a new client?
You'd do an intake form to start with, obviously, and then each time a person comes, you would have a conversation around what they want to bring into the room. It might not bring any of that up. They could come in with a pain in their foot, and we need to balance their liver and kidney meridians. Right. So it's about looking at this as a whole system and not separate parts, because it could be something that the energy is not flowing in the meridians, and it's not accessing the right energy flow. and affecting the circulation, for example, down into the foot. So it's not about treating. It's the same with healing. When you channel through healing, you're observing what's coming up, but you're getting out of the way and just allowing that to, or trusting that to go wherever it's needed in order for the body to heal itself.
So if it's a client who comes along who, let's say, is open to it but not very into therapy, so would you explain that to them? Because they might say, well, no, I wanted help with my foot.
I explain that it comes up in a priority order, and that many different aspects of body talk could be affecting the foot. And actually sometimes if you go in just with your own knowledge of what you can remember in the moment, because we can only hold a certain amount of things in our conscious mind, we might have forgotten some of the stuff that we learnt. When you're accessing that from an intuitive and structured point of view, that's why we do Mindscape, is to continually learn how to use your left and right brain together. It gives you something that you can kind of bring up out of your kind of storage or accessing the pool of information that's out there, to bring something else into the room without me saying what I think. I mean, obviously there is always a certain element of expertise in every therapy and things that, systems that you have to learn about in order for them to shift. But there is that you can't do any harm in a body talk session, because let's say if it's not right for somebody, it will refer straight out, or it might say no permissions to start. So you'd start asking permissions of the body using the biofeedback muscle test.
So what would be a reason for it to say no permission in your experience?
They may need to go to the doctor. They may need a scan. They might be more seriously ill than they think. So it's a kind of fail safe.
Okay.
Yeah, and in your body's energy, we're all energy beings. So once you've got somebody in there, or if you're in somebody's energy, even online, you're already kind of picking up their energy field and you can feel if something's a bit off. A bit like something's not quite right. So you have to just trust and follow that.
No, that makes sense.
Intuition.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Difficult to explain. You just get into this kind of zone of allowing. I mean, I used to worry, when I first started. Now I just let it come up without any attachment to what's coming up. And those, sometimes you just think, well, I've no idea how that's going to pan out, and not sure how much I was in it today. And then you'll get a message the next day saying, brilliant, this happened, and great session. So it's not really about us at all. We're just navigating. We're just taught to navigate.
Well, that's the important thing, though, isn't it? To be a conduit for it, to allow yourself to get out of the way.
It is the getting out of the way. It's the same with healing. You're not doing it at somebody. You're just allowing that energy to information to flow through you, and you're observing what's coming up. Look at the doggy. Doggy wants tapping.
But that in itself takes time to learn that, to get yourself out of the way. Like you say, I think when you first start in any therapy, you're doing it very mechanically until
it's important. Actually, when you first learn body talk, there's a lot of left brain stuff, and it's a lot of information. So it's not complicated, or actually, no, it's not complicated. It's just a lot of information to hold. So, I mean, I loved it so much that I had stick-it notes and stuff everywhere, back of the loo, by the kettle, by the cooker, so that I was just kind of programming myself to remember these systems. Once you've passed your exams, and you're really in the realms of allowing your right brain to step in, doing the Mindscape course, or if other people are developing their senses or using healing, that really helps, because you're already able to be in the zone, as it were, kind of tuning into your own intuition, or the wisdom of the client in front of you.
That makes sense. So, thank you, Suzanne.
Suzanne, can I just ask, is it then a hands-on therapy that you're helping with the energy, or you're helping the client clear their energy blockage? When you're saying, oh, it might be, they've come in for such and such, and then it's a kidney meridian. What exactly does that look like then when they're working on their kidney meridian?
So you're revealing a story of what's happened throughout their life in order to end up with a physical kidney issue. It could be many things, like I was showing you in the formula. Your body can heal itself if you're giving, if it's if you create the right environment in order for that to heal. So sometimes even just bringing it up into your consciousness and somebody having that aha moment of, oh God, that makes sense why that's happened.
Okay, that might shift the blockage.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just the validation for somebody. But it is because we're all energy, and if you're properly in the session with that energy, the observation of that can also create that shift. So you can actually work on people that are asleep or in a coma or something like that. You can still access body talk from that aspect, as long as you've had permissions to work. So I've had people before asking if I can do a session on their husband or something, for example, and then I say, well, have I got permission? No, he doesn't know, but that's fine, just do a distance session. So it's like, well, actually that's still about you. So that's a session for them still, and not fixing. We're not fixing anybody. So you have to be kind of careful with that aspect of stuff. I mean, you know, and it doesn't really work like that. It would still, and I've had teenagers marched in, you know, fix this attitude or something else. And then I'm like, well, it might be the parent that I need to work on. And if somebody's come in because they've been badgered into coming in, my first question is, do you want to be here? Is this, because I don't want to convince somebody to have a session. I want them to be in it or not. And if they don't really want to be there, that's totally fine, because that's their decision. So I can't do a session at somebody. You can't just, because somebody would just completely close off their energy. Yeah. And some of it might work, but you wouldn't want to work on somebody who's completely resistant anyway. So that's always quite funny. I had a husband once and he was just like, oh, what, so are you going to do a session? I said, well, if you want a session, I'll do a session. He was like, oh, okay then, I'm here, I suppose. And then he completely relaxed. Whereas before that, it was a bit like, I don't know what you're going to do. I've been sent here by my wife and told that I need a session. I was like, okay, first you want to be here, because it's fine if you don't. So that became quite funny, and actually turned out to be a really good session. And he came for quite a while until his issues were sorted, but I did work on the wife too, of course. So it's interesting, working on babies and animals and stuff is lovely, because you can't influence something around them. There's something quite magical about things happening when they're not in the session with their mind trying to make things happen or block things. It's just totally open kind of energy to receiving. So yeah, so rabbiting on a bit long there, Gemma.
Thank you, that's good.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Anyone else got any questions? Unmute yourself if you have, because I can't see everybody at the same time.
Could I ask you to talk a little about how you qualify as a body talk practitioner and what's involved?
You can. So there are the fundamentals is the first course. So that's a 4-day intensive course, 9 till 6. And then in order to sit your exam, you'd need to do, I believe is it still 50 case studies, guys? Yeah, it's a long time ago. And do 50 case studies and then practice learning all the knowledge, and then practice the physical stuff of how to apply a body talk session. And then when you're ready, you sit the 4 days again for about a third of the price, I think, and then have your exam and stuff at the end of it. Submit your case studies to your therapist. Karen and Andy doing Mind's actually working online at the moment. They're both working still. They just adapted and developed their system straight into on the computer instead.
You can learn it online then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's nothing ever beats being there in person, and I've made some amazing friends along the way. And Maria and we met through Body Talk, didn't we? 15 years ago. So we've been great buddies ever since. And Pam and Sue are Body Talk practitioners as well, and Julie who's down the bottom there hiding. So yeah, it's a journey. For me, the left brain stuff was a challenge just simply because I like hanging out in my right brain creative side, but it was really good. It's like learning to drive the car, and then once you've learnt that, you're just, you know, kind of in autopilot, aren't you? You kind of let go of the knowledge because you can access that through bringing up what you know out of your memory storage during a session, really. And I've got a whole thing of cheat sheets that I've had this for years and years, and you know, about 15 books that we've all got access to, all sorts of different, it goes into the consciousness of everything as well, which is really, really interesting. It is a fabulous course. I'm really glad that it came into my life. I have no idea what I might have been doing by now.
You were talking a very long time ago when you and I were discussing this, beyond the 4 plus the 4 with the 50 case studies in between, there were like other bolt-on courses.
Yeah, so you can go right up to module 9. So you've got 1 and 2, and then module 3 is about consciousness, and you've got 4 and 7 that's taught together. It's more structural stuff. 6 is chakras, meridians, Wei Chi. Correct me, Maria, if I'm wrong. 9 is about matrices and energy systems, and how we all end up with issues in our body from more of a collective point of view. So, you know, have you heard of family constellations and things like that? So it's kind of looking at groupings and of things and how they affect us, and that can happen in your body as well. Stores up energy. It is fascinating. Goes into planets, astrology, all sorts, goes everywhere. So yeah, and there's Mindscape. That's where you learn to build a virtual workshop, and you build that, and it's however you built it. Mine is my first one was kind of inside a tree, like the faraway tree, and it had all these different rooms and different ways of things coming into the room. And now it's kind of more like a whole area. It was funny, the last time I built my Mindscape, because I've resat it a lot because I coordinate, I was trying to do the tree meditation and ground our roots into the ground, and I couldn't actually get my roots down at all. And I thought, what's going on here? Because I'm usually quite good at this meditation. I realised I'd built my actual workshop up in a cloud. And actually had no grounding going on at all. So it's all kind of a metaphor for kind of where you're at and what you might need to add to your own life as well. When I've just gone and hidden myself away up in the clouds in my own little world. So yeah, in order to get my roots down, I needed to be on the ground somewhere. So that was quite funny. So that kind of shows up things about you, and also you invite your client in to your session as well, and you're able to look at them from a whole kind of different perspective, like holographic. Guides can come in, all sorts. That's so much fun learning Mindscape. Anyone, you don't have to be a body talk practitioner to learn Mindscape. That's something that actually helps with any therapy and your whole kind of imagination. It just gives it a structure, gives your intuition a structure.
How long is the Mindscape?
That's a weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weekend. And then there's a advanced Mindscape, which is also a weekend. That's good. I like doing that. Did that answer your question, Linda?
Yes, thank you very much.
So there is quite a lot of learning, but for me it's a journey. And actually, even after 15 years, if I reset, because you can go along for a small amount of the price once you've done a course, you can go and revisit, and I hear something different every single time I turn up at a course. And if it's a different practitioner, it's a slightly different perspective. I mean, for me, Karen is a really, really good teacher, and I like coordinating for her because she's, very precise and make sure everybody really understands what they're doing. She's a taskmaster, but in a good way. Would you say, Sue? Do you agree? And Pam, she's a good teacher, isn't she, Karen? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I learned so much with sort of this journey. I mean, my journey's been about 2 years, but and also having the sessions every sort of 2 weeks. Really, I've been choosing to. It hasn't been. I mean, because every time you have a session, it says how soon then you should have the next one. And sometimes if 3 weeks comes up, I just want 2 weeks. I just want it regularly. I mean, it's just whatever comes up at that point as well. And yeah, I've got rid of a lot of things. And yeah, so going back to the you know, sort of Karen. Yeah, so many stories, so many wonderful, brilliant stories. I just couldn't recommend the course enough.
It's good fun, and everybody really bonds as well. It's good. It is really good to do. It's a good journey. Thanks, Sue.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else got any questions? Unmute if you have.
Bedazzles them all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you very much, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Last we got you talking.
Yeah. I'm done now. Yay.
And I'm sure everyone really enjoyed it. I know I did. I mean, even though as everyone knows, I've had body talk with you, but you know, being the client is very different to hearing you talking about it and the background of it. And I hear the passion in your voice, and I think that's what makes you a great therapist, is because you totally live this truth, you know, and it comes through. So thank you for sharing that with all of us.
You're very welcome. So just
Yes.
Maria, do you want to come off mute for a minute?
Hello.
Hello. So Maria and I learnt body talk back many moons ago together, and you're still practicing and you still love it too.
I do.
Just wanted to say, even in Spain.
Even in Spain. Yeah, I'm still going. It's amazing. It's changed my life, and it's a very, very big part of everything I do. And it's amazing how it really helps you to get more in touch with that creative side, that intuitive side, and it just opens you up to just a different way of life. And it's working on you just most of all to start with. It's a very personal experience, but what it does for you and then what you can do for others, it's amazing.
Thank you. So yeah, it's been good. And Maria and I have swapped sessions. We still do after this many years, and every single session is completely different. That's what I like about it. It's never boring. Sometimes it's completely bonkers.
And what I love about Body Talk as a system is the fact that it's so open. So whatever comes up in the system, like you said earlier, you could refer to other people, but you can also bring in other modalities, and that can be something that you do yourself, or it could be something else entirely. And you either have to refer them or even just bring the energy of it into that formula. And I think that's just incredible.
It is a very clever system. So any of you guys, if with other skills that you have, it would enhance that, because your session would be bringing exactly what they need in that, as well as your expertise that you already have with what you're doing. So yeah. So
it's more tools in your tool belt.
Yeah, it just adds to it. You're just adding and adding and adding, and even the healing will come into a session. And I love teaching Rahanni. That's I'm quite passionate about that too, because I have ongoing training with that. Not just, I don't, you know, if you've learnt it one day, then there's always an offer. And if I know Linda and Amanda, who've learnt Rahanni with me, and a few others here as well. I'm working online, so if you want to develop that further, or wait until we're back in person, then join a group. I'm going to make more access for that when we're out of lockdown as well. So yeah, I do really like my job, which is why I overwork and end up poorly, and then I end up with Gemma going, help my food, and I'll ring Maria and go, help, I need a session. So yeah, it's good. Anyway, I will stop rambling on now.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone.
You're very welcome. Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening.
We just want to say a bit about the network thing, whether people...
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, so I don't know if some of you were on here when we talked about the network, and we had the networking event. Was it about a month ago now? Probably was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And we talked about carrying that on, but if we did, it would become a paid thing for anyone who wanted to come along and network. But anyone who wanted to just come along and watch, it would be free. We just sort of wanted to know who might be interested, whether there is a big interest in that, just so we can get a measure of who might want to be included. So
you just let us know separately.
Now, but if you can let us know on, you know, that's fine, and then we've got an idea, and once we know who's interested, we can set something up. So that would be great.
Could you give us sort of some brief notes on it, because of course I wasn't part of that and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
We'll pop something up on WhatsApp and on the Telegram group.
Yeah.
Just to give
okay,
you an idea. We got together and everybody did their kind of 5 minutes about them, and it gave everybody an opportunity, because obviously it's every 2 weeks and we've got quite a lot of people in the group. It might be some time before people get to speak or speak again. And it would just provide an opportunity for everybody to network together and bring other people in, so that you can advertise your work, really.
Yeah,
and it's working really well for people, because it's brought business for everybody that's been a speaker, and it's free, and it's nice to catch up even if there is no business. I've enjoyed having the support here, but we thought if we ran a network event, then it could be more structured. I used to run one in person years ago, but that was quite businessy. It's quite nice to do one with other therapists and kind of share our wares.
Yeah, and the talks will always be free, you know, because that's what we want to do.
Yeah, this group will always be free.
The network would be separate, a separate thing, perhaps once a month, something like that. And also I think it's a good place for therapists to come together, talk about what you do, and for me, I feel, I'd feel comfortable referring someone to that person, you know, because some people come to me and I think something else would be really good for them, so then I could say, oh great, go and see Suzanne, or, you know, go and see someone else. So I think it's a useful resource really for therapists.
Yeah, and actually for anybody in this group to arrange to have swaps with each other as well, so you each know what each other does.
Definitely.
And again, once you've tried something out, you can refer to people. It's very difficult to refer for something that you've not actually tried, for example.
Yeah.
So it's just a way of everybody getting to know each other better and arranging some kind of one-to-ones, I guess, so that people can have a little swapsy.
Yeah, remember, you can private message people from the group. You can find their number and just private message them and say, do you fancy a swap? I've done that with several people now, and it's been fantastic. And like, you know, me and Suzanne swap anyway, but I always find I learned something from swapping with someone, you know, and that's a useful thing. And then even more so, I feel comfortable then to refer someone. So I think these networks are important, especially now for therapists, I think. But, you know, let us know what you think. That's just our feelings.
And for the people just coming along to listen, obviously, then if they're not advertising their therapies, and obviously that would be free.
Yeah,
for those. And actually, while we're on this, before I forget, I'd like to arrange a chat with you, Kim. Kim does Psych K, Maria.
Oh, that sounds good. I've just actually put a note in. I have to go because it's
thank you very much.
I've got to head off to work, but that would be awesome. Just send me a message, and thanks for inviting me, Karen, and I can't wait for the next one.
That's great. It's lovely to see you. We'll catch up again. You take care. Have a good day.
Sounds good. Have a nice evening. It's a beautiful day here today, so
it's bedtime.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoy.
Bye, ladies. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Psych K is, as well as Body Talk, are the two of the modalities that Dr. Bruce Lipton advocate, which is fabulous to have him advocating.
It's really good. So I met Kim on LinkedIn, and we just decided to meet up, and we had to arrange it obviously because she's in Australia, and she just on the spur gave me a sample of Psych K, and it was fantastic. So that was a really great, and she was very keen to join this group, so that was really cool. She's very keen to do swaps with people, be involved with us as therapists, and she's keen on the network idea. So, you know, if online, there's no barrier to geography. You know, Australia is quite good because she's in the morning, we're in the evening. You can sort of work it out. So
yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. It's good that we've become international, isn't it?
Yeah, we've become international. It's amazing. We also have someone from New Zealand as well who I spoke to. So yeah, there's no barriers anymore. Before, I think on LinkedIn I would never have thought of doing that, or anywhere, but now I think, well, it doesn't matter, does it? You know, just contact them and it's great. Another perspective, another part of the world.
Yeah, and I think when we're back out in person, we're still going to have something going on online.
Definitely, definitely.
I mean, you know, some of you are local and some of you are not, even in this country. Linda's in Devon, Faye's now in Bristol, Maria's in Spain.
Yeah, there's a few different places going on.
Oh yeah, it's been good to hook up on here, so it's really good. Anyway, I will stop rattling on now.
So yeah,
thank you so much everybody for coming. It was really good to have your support.
Yeah, thank you, and
Thank you.
thanks Suzanne.
You're welcome.
Talk. Really enjoyed it.